Okay, so right now with me here is Bhumika Datta, and we are going to start her mock interview. So first of all, Bhumika,
Yes,
you
sir.
tell us your BTech branch gate score and from where you have got interview call.
So my BTech branch is Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. I have given my GATE 2021 in Instrumentation Engineering branch, and my GATE score is 621. And I've got call from ISC Bangalore from the Department of Instrumentation and Applied Physics.
Okay, okay. So now we are going to start your mock interview. Okay, so Bhumika, first of all, you give us a brief introduction.
I am Bhumika Datta. I'm currently in the 8th semester of my BTech in Electronics Instrumentation Engineering from Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida campus. I have completed my class 10th and 12th from Jammu, JK Public School. And I have some technical skills like MATLAB, Simulink. I have pretty good coding skills like C, C++, and data structures. Moreover, I've been consistent topper of my batch and have been awarded 100% scholarship throughout my BTech. And uh, this is all about me.
Okay, so you got a scholarship under which scheme?
So actually, Amity University provides scholarship for top 3%. According to the batch size, top 3% students get 100% scholarship, depending upon their rank.
Okay. So now after your completing your BTech, what is your next plan? What do you
Sir, I want to pursue my higher education because in bachelor's degree we only get limited knowledge, that is theoretical knowledge and very basic knowledge of our field, and very little practical exposure is there. So pursuing masters will increase my knowledge and help me to develop certain skills which are very useful for in today's industries. That is why I'm
Okay.
going for higher education.
So you said that in your graduation you have got very limited knowledge, right?
Yes, a basic knowledge which is also very important, but in today's
And why most of the companies recruit BTech graduates?
sir, nowadays, like I was placed in Accenture from Amity University. I was solely placed because of my computing and coding skills, and I think in most of the campus placement, I don't know about all of the colleges, but in most of the private colleges, these techno grads like Google, Accenture, Amazon, Deloitte, they come to the company campuses, and most of them are interested in coding portion only. And because of this corona pandemic in our campus, none of our core companies came. Like last year, our seniors got placed in Samsung, Blue Star, but this year didn't come. So yeah, basically, BTech gives a very overview of the subjects which are required elementary knowledge, but higher education is also important in my view because we get the chance to learn about a specific domain and get more skills which are important. BTech is also very important because unless and until we have a basic knowledge of the things, we can't go ahead without that.
Okay, so if we offer you MTech research and PhD, which program you will prefer?
Sir, I'll prefer MS research, that is MTech by research.
Okay, MTech research. Why so?
Sir, this is because I'm a sort of person who likes to learn all the time and want to like gain knowledge and skills, and because of that, my I have an inclination towards research work, and I've also published two research papers, one in the field of control system and other in the field of electronics. So I also aspire to work when I start my career, my professional life. I want to. It's my aspiration that I get a chance to work in the R&D department because that's my passion to know about things, to get to more information and be up to date about the technology.
Okay, so now you tell me why are you interested in instrumentation and physics department?
So, as I told you that I've done my bachelor, I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's in electronics and instrumentation. So, instrumentation is my core department. So, I have basic knowledge of instrumentation. Like I have studied various courses like transducers, industrial instrumentation, then uh, instrumentation required in iron and steel industries, which I've currently recently studied in my 8th semester. So I have basic knowledge of all these instrumentation areas, and I know that in today's industry, not only in today's industry, basically every industry, in my opinion, there is no industry which can work without instrumentation. Instrumentation is everywhere. It's basically measuring, monitoring, controlling accordingly. If there is no instrumentation, then I don't think so any industry can work. It's handicapped. So these are the two reasons which I opted for this course, because first of all, it's my core branch.
Okay,
And
so have you identified any particular project or research area in which you would like to work?
so, according to the profile of the department, I've figured out the area of nanophysics and electronics portion, semiconductor electronics.
So you told that you are more interested in instrumentation.
Yes, sir.
Nanophysics and electronics. Are these related to instrumentation?
Yes, sir. Actually, they have mentioned instrumentation in both these fields in a Google form that I received from their department. So they have mentioned instrumentation in instrumentation in optical physics, biophysics, nanophysics, and bioengineering, and they have a separate uh, research area of semiconductor electronics. And
Have you studied physics?
yes, sir. In first year, we had the applied physics 1 and 2 in our BTech
Okay, so
curriculum.
what were the topics there in your syllabus?
Sir, we studied about refraction, basic laws of refraction, then the famous Young's double slit experiment, diffraction, then uh, electromagnetic theory, the basic electromagnetic theory, which was further carried in the 5th semester as electromagnetic field theory. Uh, the famous Newton rings experiment, basically Fresnel's prism, and uh, about optics, basically the optical physics portion, not
Okay.
the mechanics one.
So tell me, what is spectrometry?
Sir, in spectrometry, basically we have studied mass spectrometry. It is basically we get a spectrum as the output, where we get to analyze a sample, and we see the various samples by mass by charge ratio, and how much quantity is present in that particular sample. For example, if a sample is H2O, it is present in a chamber, that sample, and it is passed through a gun of a beam of electrons, and then due to the collision with these electrons, the H2O molecules dissociate into their respective ions, like OH positive ion is formed, uh, O positive is formed, H positive is formed. These types of fragments we get. So basically, mass spectroscopy help us to analyze in that particular sample what quantity of each fragment is present in that sample.
Okay. So where, in what industries, what kind of industries spectrometry may be useful?
So, spectrometry, I believe, is very useful in the chemical industries, like the pharmaceutical industry, where in the salts there are various salts. Basically, in medicines, there are various salts which combine together to form a medicine. So, we need to analyze, but that in that particular salt, what should be the concentration of each say subparticle. Like in a particular salt, there are some subparts, like it may include zinc, it may include calcium, it may include magnesium. So to make a particular medicine, we need to maintain the ratio in that sample. So here we can use the mass spectroscopy and maintain that required level of each and every element in
How
that.
is it different from chromatography? What is chromatography?
Sir, in chromatography, basically, it helps us to know the composition of gases. Mainly, the gas chromatography is used, and liquid chromatography is also very commonly, frequently used. Composition of gases we get but in chromatography we don't get the exact amount by which that particular gas is present. We only get that a particular sample of gas is there, so we get only the compositions, like these gases are present in the whole sample of that gas, not the exact amount, how much percentage it is in the sample.
Okay. So do you know Beer's law?
Uh, yes, I know.
Okay.
Beer's law is basically a relation between the absorption and it gives a relation between absorption and uh, the molar concentration, the length of the tube or the cell in which the sample is kept, and its concentration, which is usually taken in terms of molarity.
So in what phenomena we use this Beer's law?
So Beer's law is generally used to know the absorption capacity, or we can say the transmittance capacity of a sample. Like if we're Beer's law simply says capital A, which is the absorption, is equal to small ABC. Here the small a is the, as I said, the absorptivity coefficient. B is the length of the tube in which that particular sample is kept, and C is the concentration, which is generally taken in moles per liter, that is molarity. So, by knowing the absorption, we can judge according to our needs, according to the application which we are using. We may be required to know the absorption of a particular material or a crystal. So here Beer's law can be used, and similarly, by you knowing the absorption capacity of a particular salt, we can calculate its transmittance also.
Okay. So Bhumika,
Yes, sir.
how is your mathematics knowledge?
Sir, I am pretty good at mathematics.
Okay. So in what areas of mathematics you feel comfortable?
Ordinary differential equation, matrices.
So can you tell me any use of ordinary differential equations in instrumentation?
Um, Yes, sir. A very common example is in instrumentation, or not only in instrumentation, basically the measurement of flow is very important in every industry, every possible industry, because water is such an important thing in every industry. The flow measurement is very important. So Bernoulli's principle is very famous for measurement of flow related things. So it has been derived, it basically Bernoulli's equation, or we can say the Bernoulli's principle, is derived from the Euler's equation, Euler's equation, which is a differential equation. So its solution is Bernoulli's equation, which help us to determine the flow related aspects of fluid, which is very important in instrumentation sector.
Okay. So we have dy upon dx plus
So justice.
dy upon dx plus 2y equal to y cube.
So dy upon dx plus 2y equal to,
Y cube. So what will be the solution of this differential equation?
sir, the answer is ln of bracket में under root y square minus 2 divided by y equal to 2x plus c. Sir, you are muted. ln of in bracket under root y square minus 2 divided by y equal to 2x plus c.
2x plus c.
Yes, sir.
So which method you used here?
Sir, it's normal variable separable form.
Okay. So if we do not use variable separable form, then how will you solve this equation?
So basically, it basically what I did in this question is that I took all the y terms one side, and x term we didn't have except dx. So and then I did partial fraction and integrated it.
If I am restricting you from using this variable separable concept, then what will be the second approach?
So we can use linear linear differential equation form.
So is this linear equation?
So we can convert it. Like the equation which you gave me is dy by dx plus 2y equal to y cube. If we divide the whole equation by y cube,
Okay.
then we can convert it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
by
Last-
placing, then y will cancel y square. Then we can put 1 by y square as t, and then it will take the standard form of linear partial differential equation.
So, Kailash sir,
Hello, what is your name, please?
Hello, sir. My name is Bhumika Dutta.
Okay. Tell me, what do you understand by the Hall effect?
Hall effect.
Yes.
Sir, basically in Hall effect, when we apply
Please keep your answer brief.
in Hall effect, the current passing through if current and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, then a voltage is generated which is perpendicular to both of them.
Okay. What are the application of Hall effect?
The Hall effect by using the Hall effect, the Hall effect transducer which are used for measurement of displacement.
Other applications?
Other applications, I don't know, sir. Sorry.
Okay, no issue. So do you have any idea about digital frequency meter, as you belong to instrumentation?
Digital frequency meter.
Yes.
No, sir. I've studied about digital voltmeters, analog to digital converter, digital to analog
I'm
converter.
asking digital frequency meter.
No, sir.
Okay. Draw the transfer characteristics of operational amplifier in open loop configuration.
Sir, ideal op amp.
Practical op amp.
Done.
Show me. अच्छा बताइए, what does it mean? Significance क्या है इसका?
So basically, in an ideal op amp, as we know, the gain is very high for an operational amplifier. That too, it is used in open loop here. So it works in linear region for a very small range of input value. And as we know, op amp has a output saturated. Its output gets saturated in positive level or negative level, like plus minus 15 volts. So after some time, we get a constant output voltage is irrespective of increasing of our input voltage.
Tell me any non-linear application of operational amplifiers.
Linear application. Sir, the operational amplifier are used as filters. Low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass filters.
That is non-linear application.
Yes, sir, because it involves squaring terms when we take the magnitude of the transfer function.
So that will be a constant square. So constant square is not going to change the linearity. Magnitude is always constant. Do you think magnitude is a function of frequency? Or magnitude is a function of input?
The magnitude will depend upon the frequency.
Linearity you check with respect to frequency or input?
Input.
Then
The multi-vibrators that we construct using op amps. These are non-linear.
it means you crammed this characteristics. You don't know the non-linear application and you have drawn the characteristics. You have drawn the output and input characteristics and you're not able to tell me by visualizing these characteristics what are the non-linear applications. If someone have this output versus input characteristics lying on the book, then directly he can tell what are the non-linear applications. I think in this your graph there are two reasons. One is linear reason, second is the non-linear reason, right?
So linear and saturation.
Saturation is known as the non-linear reason. Means
that I
their
was
output
not
is not directly proportional. In saturation, your output is directly proportional to input, yes or no?
Sir, in saturation, the output remains constant in respect to the input.
It means it is a non-linear region. Any amplifier is having two regions. One is linear, one is non-linear. Now, can you tell me by looking at this graph, what are the non-linear application?
Voltage regulator. The same way a Zener diode is used to maintain the voltage level at a constant level. We can use it in the saturation region to maintain a particular voltage level.
What answer you are saying? Voltage regulator is used if there is some variation in the input, it should give the constant output, right?
Hmm.
And this characteristics is showing that output is independent of input. Do you think this will work as a voltage regulator? Okay, tell me, do you have any idea about interferometer?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is it?
Any device which works in the principle of interference is known as interferometer.
What are the application of interferometer?
Interferometer, by using them, we can determine the refractive index of any medium. It can be used to determine the thickness of any film, and we can
Okay.
also determine the wavelength of the monochromatic light source used.
What do you mean by the monochromatic light source?
In a monochromatic light source, I mean it only consists of a single wavelength.
What is difference between monochromatic and coherent sources?
Sir, in coherent sources, the phase between the two waves should be constant, and secondly, the wavelength should be wavelength, amplitude, and frequency should be same, and the phase should be constant. In monochromatic light, we only mean that the wavelength should remain constant.
So in monochromatic, there is no concept of phase.
So coherence is a term which is used between two different wavelengths. Sorry, two different waves, and between two waves we can have a phase difference. In a monochromatic,
Can two independent light source be coherent or not?
no,
Why?
because it is not practically possible that by taking two independent sources we generate such kind of two waves which have a constant phase difference.
Why it is not possible? That is what I'm asking. Do you have an idea about reflection loss?
Reflection,
Yes.
yes,
Tell me, what is the percentage reflection loss? How to calculate it?
it is simply calculated by the refractive index mu minus 1 divided by mu plus 1 to the whole square into 100 for the percentage calculation.
How I can decrease the reflection loss, or how I can minimize it, or how I can avoid it?
Reflection losses can be minimized by doing less polishing of the surfaces, because greater is the polishing level, the more reflecting will be the surfaces.
तो अगर more reflecting होगी तो reflection losses कम होंगे.
सर मैंने वही उल्टा ही तो कहा है इसका, कि अगर रिफ्लेक्शन हमें घटाना है तो हमें पॉलिशिंग लेवल कम करना चाहिए ताकि रिफ्लेक्शन कम हो पाए, क्योंकि ज्यादा पॉलिशिंग होगी तो उससे रिफ्लेक्शन ज्यादा होगा. इसीलिए हम लेजर में एक मिरर कंप्लीटली पॉलिश रखते, जो पॉलिश रखते ताकि रिफ्लेक्ट हो पाए.
I got it. Fine. Suppose you are having a RL circuit, right? And the response is given to you. Write the response. Take your copy pen. 50 plus 100 e raised to power minus 5000 t milliampere.
5000 t milliamperes
Milliampere.
in the whole bracket.
Okay. This is a series RL circuit. Okay, connected to some source.
Okay.
Whose response is given to you. Find the Thevenin equivalent circuit seen by the inductor.
Thevenin equivalent
Circuit seen by the inductor. आ गया आंसर आपका?
No, sir, I'm unable to do it.
Okay, fine, no issue. Your background is instrumentation or electronics and communication?
Electronics and instrumentation.
What do you understand by power supply rejection ratio?
Power supply rejection ratio. Sir, I've heard this term for the first time. Which subject it relates to?
This relate to operational amplifier.
Sorry, sir, we haven't studied this term.
Okay. Okay, fine, no issue. That is done from my side.
Okay,
So, Tyagi sir, you can give
provide
feedback.
feedback.
You can give sir feedback.
भूमिका देखो, बस ये है कि थोड़ा स्पीड कम रखनी है अपनी बोलने की, ठीक है ना। जितना पूछा जाए वो लिमिटेड आंसर करना है, बहुत ज्यादा एकदम से बताने की स्टार्टिंग जरूरत नहीं है। मतलब क्वेश्चन पूछा उन्होंने, उसका जो एक्यूरेट आंसर है वो दे दिया, और बताना एक दो एग्जाम्पल उसके बारे में हल्का फुल्का बता दिया, बट ये नहीं कि पूरा उसमें चले जाओ डिटेल में, कोई जरूरत नहीं है। फर्दर क्वेश्चन वो पूछते हैं तो उसके हिसाब से फिर आंसर करो, ठीक है। बस जितना बताओगे उससे क्लियर होना चाहिए वो कंसेप्ट। बाकी जो डेफिनेशंस मैंने पूछी हैं सारी ये इंपॉर्टेंट हैं, और ये आपको आइडिया है पहले से, सारा आपने आंसर सही किया है, ठीक है। तो स्पेक्ट्रोमेट्री, क्रोमेटोग्राफी, ये दोनों चीजें तो रेडी करके रखना है अपनी। उसके अलावा जो बाकी तुमने रिफ्रैक्शन, डिफ्रैक्शन ये सारे पढ़े हैं, तो ये सब चीजें भी फिजिक्स वाली सेक्शन वाली जो बीटेक में आपने पढ़े होंगे, एक बार इनको रिकॉल करके रखना है। और इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन में जो भी आपके कंसेप्ट आपने बताए हैं, ठीक है, ठीक है। डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन का यूज बता दिया, और ये बर्नौली इक्वेशन थी तो बर्नौली वाले मेथड से आपने सॉल्व करना बता दिया, ठीक है। तो ओवरऑल ठीक है आपका। और स्कूल की जरूरत नहीं है, हाई स्कूल कहाँ से किया, इंटर कहाँ से किया, इंट्रोडक्शन में स्कूल के नाम की कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है। बीटेक के कॉलेज को मेंशन कर सकते हो, बट स्कूल 10th 12th के स्कूल की जरूरत नहीं है। कैलाश सर?
हाँ, हेलो हेलो।
Yes, sir.
मैं ऑडिबल हूँ? हाँ, am I audible?
यस।
See, first of all, I don't know when you start introducing yourself, आपने इतना ज्यादा टाइम ले लिया, अपने अपने बारे में सारा कुछ बता दिया, आपको कोडिंग का नॉलेज, ये सब चीजों का नॉलेज है। या तो आपका किसी स्टूडेंट से बात हुआ होगा जो अभी इंटरव्यू देख के आया होगा। जब भी आप किसी आईआईटी पैनल को, ये आईआईटी टेक्निकल इंटरव्यूज हो रहे हैं यहाँ पे, तो वो आपको खुद पूछेंगे आपके क्या स्किल्स है। जब आपने फिजिक्स को डिस्क्राइब किया तो आपने बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स बोल दिए जहां से बहुत रैंडम क्वेश्चन बनते हैं। रीजन बीइंग, जब 2-3 पर्सन पैनल में होते हैं ना इंटरव्यू में, वी डोंट नो किसके दिमाग में क्या क्वेश्चन स्ट्राइक कर जाए, राइट। सो उन पे छोड़िए, अपने से हिंट मत दीजिए उनको, सोर्सेज मत दीजिए उनको क्वेश्चन पूछने के, राइट। आपने 10-12 चीजें C++, डाटा स्ट्रक्चर, मतलब ऐसा लग रहा था आपने सारी ब्रांचेस को कंबाइन कर दी। जो मुझे फील हुआ मैं वो बता रहा हूँ, राइट।
स्पीड लिमिटेड
आप
रखनी है।
अपने आप से, ठीक है, बीइंग आपके पास टैलेंट है, आपने ये सारी चीजें जानते हो, दैट इज फाइन, दैट इज योर प्लस पॉइंट, राइट। बट उनको वो चीज बताओ जो उनको वो डिमांडिंग है वहां पे। अगर वो बोलेंगे आपको प्रोग्रामिंग नॉलेज है तो आप बताइए फिर ये सब चीजें जो जो आप बोल रहे हो, राइट। अगर आप पहले से बताओगे तो कहीं ना कहीं उनका माइंडसेट वैसा ही हो जाएगा, शायद जिस डायरेक्शन में इंटरव्यू चलना था उस डायरेक्शन में ना चल के वो अलग डायरेक्शन में लेना स्टार्ट करते हैं। तो बेटर है कि अगर वो आपको पूछते हैं, जैसे वो पूछेंगे कि डू यू हैव एनी प्रायर हैंड्स ऑन फिजिक्स, तो आप बता सकते हो जो सब चीजें आपने बताई है कि ये वो सारी चीजें हैं। इफ दे आस्क यू डू यू हैव एनी प्रायर हैंड्स ऑन द प्रोग्रामिंग, तो आप बता सकते हो आई हैव दिस ऑल, ओके। तो इंट्रोडक्शन में मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये सारी चीजें आपको इंक्लूड करने की जरूरत है। ये ऐसा लग रहा है कि ऑलरेडी आप उन बच्चों से बात कर चुके जिन्होंने इंटरव्यू दिया कि ये पूछा जा रहा, तो मैं सारा कुछ इंक्लूड कर दूं उसमें, जो मुझे लगा, राइट। तो वो सारी चीजें, वो हो सकता है डिफरेंट कैंडिडेट के लिए डिफरेंट चीजें पूछे, राइट। और दूसरा चीज ये रहता है, जब ऐसी ब्रांचेस का इंटरव्यू रहता है जैसे इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन एंड अप्लाइड फिजिक्स है, तो यहाँ पे वो डेफिनेटली आपके कोर सब्जेक्ट पे जाएंगे, वो पूछेंगे आपको। यूजुअली क्या होता है जब ऐसी ब्रांचेस का इंटरव्यू होता है, पहले वो 2-4 क्वेश्चन रैंडमली पूछते हैं, प्री रिक्विजिट ऑफ दैट एरिया। अगर कैंडिडेट उसको आंसर करने में अनेबल है तो फिर वो आपकी ब्रांच की तरफ शिफ्ट हो जाते हैं कि चलो बताइए व्हाट वर द योर फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट इन द बीटेक। तो एटलीस्ट 2 सब्जेक्ट बोलो, जो मेरा मानना है 2 या 3 बोलो, 4-5 सब्जेक्ट बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट। मैक्सिमम 2 सब्जेक्ट इनफ है, सो दैट यू आर लिमिटिंग देम। दूसरी चीज है, कई जगह पे जैसे मैं आपको देख रहा था कि जब आप आंसर कर रहे थे, अगर आप कहीं पे स्टक भी हो रहे थे, आप जबरदस्ती उसको खींच रहे थे, राइट, किसी चीज को लेके, तो उसको मत करिए, वो आपका एक नेगेटिव पॉइंट है। उसको आपको पता है कि मुझे इसके बारे में इतना पता है, जैसे मैंने आपको भी ये क्वेश्चन दिया था, आई गेस मैंने कुछ पूछा था आपसे इसके बारे में, ट्रांसफर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स मैंने आपको ड्रॉ करने के लिए बोला था, तो यू ड्रॉ इट, दिस वाज राइट, ओके। later on I ask you what are the non-linear applications. See, any amplifier, it is operated in two mode. One is linear, second is non-linear, right? Saturation we call the non-linear, because here output is, not dependent upon the input. Once input is greater than that cutoff point which you have mentioned on the x-axis, doesn't matter whatever is input, output will be the same, right? Or we can call it distorted amplifier also in other sense. So it means when I am operating my operational amplifier for that value of input, to the right of that cutoff point and to the left of that negative side cutoff point, means I am utilizing my operational amplifier in non-linear region. Okay, then where I use that? Zero crossing detector, comparator, the square wave generators, these all things should come into your mind. Isn't it like this? Tell me.
Sir, in comparator, it's just like which voltage is greater at positive terminal, negative terminal. Accordingly, the level shifts.
So level shift only in the plus VSAT minus VSAT, na? So plus VSAT minus VSAT is output in linear region or non-linear region? Tell me.
Okay, you mean to say like there is no linear relationship between the input and the output. It's
Obviously,
only fluctuating between
whenever
two
in
levels.
operational amplifier you are saying your output is either plus VSAT, either minus
Yes.
VSAT,
Hmm.
it means you are either by intended purpose you are operating that operational amplifier in non-linear region, or by default it has started operating in non-linear region. Simple thing is that. In linear region, how it can give you plus VSAT? In linear region, it will give you output which is directly proportional to input, right? So whenever you have many applications, so like this, you need to click the mind. Okay, if someone is asking me non-linear applications, fine, because you belong to instrumentation and operational amplifier find very great applications in the instrumentations, especially applications of the operational amplifier. They ask many questions. So at least you must be well aware of what are the non-idealities of operational amplifier. And I was about to ask many other questions like instrumentation, amplifier, and related to those terms. So those you can be very clear with, because I have seen many research area going where these devices are used. They are in this instrumentation and applied physics. Simple thing is, if you are having an instrumentation background, you must be very good in operational amplifier, right? Whether it is an instrumentation, whether you are saying industrial instrumentation, anything else. और उसके बाद मैंने आपको पावर सप्लाई रिजेक्शन रेशियो पूछा. You said, sir, I have heard this term first time. I guess you have heard slew rate. I guess you
Yes,
have
sir.
heard CMRR.
Yes.
So this is also one of those. The fact is that this is not asked in the GATE exam. That is why students are not aware of this. Right? There is also thermal drift is also there. So these are all the non-idealities associated with amplifier, because usually you have seen in the GATE exam, first you cover, start solving the numerical by using the ideal condition. You don't take any practical condition. Later on at the end of the chapter, your professor or teacher, start telling you these are the practical limitations. But in interview, those practical limitations are more important as compared to those numerical, because they need the candidate who is having idea and hands on those what are those non-idealities. If you are knowing the drawbacks and limitation of any device or any component, only then you are correct person to handle that. So be very aware of these things, right? CMRR, slew rate, power supply rejection ratio, thermal drift, these all are the same category parameters, right? These are basically non-idealities associated. Then I give you a numerical, simple numerical. I told you we are having a RL circuit. Whose response I told you, I guess some 50 plus 100. I don't remember exactly what was the value, 100 e raised for something.
Minus 5,000 T milliampere.
Then I told you what are the Thevenin equivalent circuits seen by the inductor. You can draw a circuit with voltage source and some resistance and inductor,
Yes,
right?
sir. That I
Then
made.
okay, then what was the doubt? Why you were not able to tell me? Tell me.
Sir, R by L I figured out was 5,000, the time constant. Then I didn't like when to make the Thevenin equivalent circuit, we have to open the inductor and find first of the Thevenin resistance, that is normal R over here. But I was not an VTH was the problem in this case, because when we open the inductor, the current will be 0 and it should be equal to the RMS value of the actual supply voltage, and we are given about anything about it. So that was the doubt.
Okay, now draw a circuit. Draw in voltage source and in series a resistance and an inductor, and show me the circuit. Right. Now I ask you, what is the voltage equivalent source seen by the inductor, right? Now tell me what will be the steady state current in the circuit. Tell me.
50 milliampere.
So 50 milliampere. Don't you think that Thevenin voltage will be this 50 milliampere multiplied by the R Thevenin?
So in Thevenin's theorem, across which we have to, the load across which we see the circuit is open circuited. So the current will be zero.
So current will be zero. We are doing that open circuit now for our analysis. For analyzing purpose, we are doing that open circuit, right? If you connect something there, suppose you are having a circuit as you have drawn there, right? What is current in this circuit at steady state? Is it 50 milliampere?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean? This is the force response. And this is a constant value, right?
Right.
It means its Thevenin equivalent will be some DC source.
Okay.
Because, you know, force response depend upon the nature of the excitation. If your force response is constant, it means excitation was constant. If your force response is in sinusoidal term, it means your excitation is sinusoidal term, right? What I was looking for you, that you should ask me, sir, until or unless we don't have the value of L, we can't calculate the RTH. VTH we can calculate. There was the problem in calculating RTH. Because RTH means L upon RTH, time constant you are having.
Yes, sir.
So there will be many questions. If you think that is data is insufficient, you can interact, you can ask him.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Sir, actually, I was thinking if I could find a relation where a ratio can be found out in spite of this thing.
You might be going for hit and trial, but you should ask. If you feel something is incomplete, you should ask the panel, right? Then I ask you Hall effect, you defined is, well, then what are the application? One, you told me sensor. Second is it is used for the measurement of current. It can be used to determine the concentration of carrier. It can be used to calculate the mobility of any semiconductor material. It can be used to measure the magnetic flux density. It can be used to as a multiplier, signal multiplier. Why I am emphasizing on the Hall effect? Because it resembles to both instrumentation as well as the physics concept, right? Because this is the very basic experiment which is performed in class 12th also in physics. Suppose you have a specimen, you told basic definition of Hall effect is whatever specimen, doesn't matter whether it is a metal or whether it is a semiconductor. If it is current carrying and it is placed in the perpendicular magnetic field, then there will be an induced electric field, or you can say voltage, right? So in specimen, there might be some concentration. In specimen, there might be electron, there might be hole. That induced voltage and electric field will be defined in terms of those values. So it means it can be also used to analyze the properties of that specimen. You can keep this in mind, okay? So there are many, point which according to me you need to change while introducing yourself. Rest you decide, you know better, right? Because this is not an interview for some companies and HR and something non-technical. Reason being why I'm telling, suppose your turn comes, when professors are very in a hurry for the lunch. Sometime it happens. So they are not interested in listening that much, honestly telling, right? They just want to finish the candidate. And
Sir,
might be.
So what
Yeah.
are the points that I should mention in my introduction?
According to me, your approach should be you just introduce yourself and never raise question in your answer. Leave on them. Simple. That Tyagi sir might be telling you in the later on that your name is Bhumika, I guess, right? Your
Yes.
name is Bhumika and I have done my BTech or doing my BTech from this college and I graduated in this year. If you want to include my GATE score, you can include that also. Leave on them, right? Whatever they want to proceed with. I don't think this will create much impression introduction, especially for the MTech and MS interview, right? तो उसके बाद उन पे छोड़ दीजिए, उनको जो भी पूछना. They want to start with your major project, they want to start directly with the subject, they want to start directly with your favorite subject. Leave on them, जो भी वो करना चाहें. अब आप इतना ज्यादा आप बोल दोगे, आप उनको बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स दे रहे हो, कंटेंट दे रहे हो आप उनको, राइट? कि you ask this also, you ask this also. Later on you can't deny, sorry sir I don't know, because आप ऑलरेडी बता चुके हो, ये सब मैं कर चुकी हूँ. फाइन. तो ये चीज का थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखिए, जो मुझे लगा. रेस्ट you decide better, right? Okay. And then I ask you one question, that is the digital frequency meter.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully in the starting, if you belong to instrumentation, A to D converter, D to A converter, digital frequency meter. These are the very common circuits which you must be well aware of. Suppose you are, for example, suppose you are having an unknown frequency source. Fine.
Okay.
You first amplify that. Okay. Then you pass that to a schemic trigger. Schemic trigger will convert it into square wave, right? Then you can use further counter and etc. Simple thing.
Okay.
So there are many questions like transducers. There are many directions they can ask in transducer. Example of active transducers, passive transducers, sensitivities of transducers, those all things, right? So be well aware with your core branch. What is your core branch? Because definitely they will come to it. Okay. Once they will ask some of the question, basic question, fundamental question related to the prerequisites of the area. Then if you're not able to answer 1 and 2 questions, then they will directly come to your, core branch. And there, they will try to target this operational amplifier, this, instrumentation topic, errors, and sensor and transducer. So if you are good enough, then you don't need to worry. Okay. बट ये कि आंसर थोड़े ब्रीफ रखो, ज्यादा इलेबोरेटिव नहीं होना है. अगर वो आपको बोलते हैं एक्सप्लेन देन गो अहेड. पहले से प्रोग्राम होके मत जाइएगा प्लीज, वो बहुत मिस्टेक होता है बिकॉज वहां पे फिर सडनली कुछ चीजें चेंज हो जाती हैं, तो आप कई बार उनको कॉप अप नहीं कर पाते, स्टक हो जाते हो, क्योंकि आपको लगता है कि आई एम नॉट आंसरिंग द वे जैसे मैंने सोचा था, राइट? क्योंकि वहां पे कुछ अलग सा सिस्टम बन जाता है. तो पहले से कुछ चीज को प्रोग्राम करके मत जाइए. दिस इज सजेशन फ्रॉम माय साइड. रेस्ट फिजिक्स के क्वेश्चन थे काफी, वो आपने सही आंसर करे. इंटरफेरोमीटर यू आंसर द राइट वे, reflection losses you answer the right way, and if you want to void or decrease the reflection losses, then we need to incident the light normally, because reflection loss is very less for the normal incidence. You might have known this, right? So anything else you want to ask, please you can ask.
No, sir, actually, I just wanted to know, in this branch like instrumentation and applied physics, will they ask question from circuit systems also? Because I don't think this subject is relevant to that.
See, there is no point of relevancy, because I have told you many times, signal and system, circuit theory, these are the subject, and even digital electronics, these are the subject which are like, they can be asked anywhere, because they don't find any specialization to particular domain. Okay. So you are going for analog, you are going for instrumentation, you are going for this, because they will not ask you in much depth of the like this physics, because very less candidate are knowing the concept of physics, especially applied physics. There is difference between physics and applied physics, right? And second thing, whatever syllabus I have posted, I thought there might be written test. That is why I have posted that syllabus. Okay. For interview, they will be asking very less question from the physics, and there will be some candidate who might be very well in physics. शायद उनको ज़्यादा question पूछे जाएं, हो सकता है, जिसके इंटरेस्ट पे जाएं वो. ठीक है. तो ये चीज ध्यान रखना. एक नेटवर्क, एक सिग्नल, इवन कंट्रोल ऑल्सो, and even digital, these are the 3 to 4 subject. इनका कोई ऐसा नहीं कि they belong to particular specialization. They can be asked anywhere. Okay, fine. That is all from my side. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Bhumika, all the best.
Thank you.